everybody, it's Angela and I am back with another process video, and this time I'm going to use this wooden frame from Saw Crafters, and I've just painted it with some white acrylic paint, and then I've gotten out my watercolors and a piece of watercolor paper, and I'm just going to play around with making a little background to go behind this frame. And I'm challenging myself on this layout to use some tissue paper that I had gotten at Target a couple months ago, and I wanted to use it on a layout and I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to do it, so this is part of my just creative process of playing and just challenging myself to use a different kind of supply than I normally do. So I'm just taking the watercolors, and you can see I'm just kind of scrubbing them in there in a little circle and making some of it lighter and some of it darker. And then I want to go ahead and put some splatters in here as well. So I just take some of that darker color and do the splatters. And I could have gotten out a spray bottle and, made this a little more freeform, but I wasn't exactly sure how this was going to turn out. And, I was just playing, so I didn't go, crazy with it. I just kind of found stuff that was on my desk to play with. And I'm getting out the Heidi Swapp gold sprinkles and adding some gold on there, because this is going to be a birthday layout of my granddaughter's first birthday party. And the tissue paper that I got has gold stripes on it. You'll see it here in a minute. And so the gold just kind of worked well with that. So I set that aside to dry. And here is the tissue paper that I had gotten, and I cut it into some strips. And then I'm just taking my scissors and cutting a fringe on that. And my process here is that I want to put it behind that frame, that Saw Crafters frame. I'm not sure how it's going to work or what, but so I'm just kind of making the fringe. And so I start heating up my hot glue gun, and while that's heating, I just play here with my tissue paper, and I just kind of rolled it over at the top to give me something a little more stable to glue to. And so I'm just putting a dot of hot glue and then kind of easing the paper around. And because it's tissue paper, you can kind of smush it and bend it and crease it, and because it's behind this frame, you can't really see where it's all smushed. And there are so many little fringes that, if one of them gets into the inside or whatever, you can just kind of pull it off. And so I go around, and it was a little bit too big of a fringe, so I cut it down. And I go ahead and finish gluing this all the way around. And then it wasn't quite, see, I'd kind of cut it down, but it just didn't seem full enough for me. And so I wanted to go ahead and put the second piece that I had done on there as well, and that just makes it look a little more full. It makes a thicker fringe all the way around. So I'm not being super careful. I'm just kind of smashing it around, trying not to burn myself. Working that tissue paper around. You can see it crumples and whatnot, but that's all going to be hidden behind there. Go ahead, add more glue, and just kind of finish working that around. And then I go ahead and I trim up this second row of fringe too, I think. And then that is going to be kind of my big focal point. And it's just like a really fun, happy paper streamer birthday, extravaganza on a page. And I'm not sure that I would use this for an adult layout kind of thing. It's a little over the top, but for a kid's birthday party page, it's perfect. I mean, she's gonna look at this in an album, and yeah, it's definitely going to appeal to a child. So it's perfect for that. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and glue that puppy right in the center of my layout. And then I need a picture that's going to fit in this frame. So I'm just kind of measuring what size circle I need. And this is like a really old EK Success thing that I found at like a thrift store. And I don't have the actual cutting knife or anything that goes with it. I just use it just as a template to make circles and then just cut it out. I suppose I could probably had the right size circle die cut somewhere. I don't know, but I would have had to go and measure all my circle die cuts, and this was just easier. So I go ahead and get that cut out and just kind of ink the edges. And I'm going to put it up on foam tape so that it's not too deep in that circle recess there. So I just grab a little bit of foam adhesive. And then I actually had a little bit of extra room in there so that I could put a mat behind the photo. So I'm just going to use this, oh, I guess this is the paper I used to mat the whole layout on. Okay, so this is a Cocoa Daisy pink paper that's an exclusive from the Cocoa Daisy kit. And I'm just using a really heavy duty double sticky tape. And that's what's going to kind of flatten out this watercolor paper, because it does kind of warp a little bit when you put the water and stuff on there for the watercolor. So I'm just going to use adhesive to kind of glue and stretch this back out flat onto my background paper. And then that just gets it nice, flat, sturdy layout. And then here's where I go and decide to put the mat behind the photo, because I do have a little extra room. So I just grabbed this scrap of pink paper that was on my desk. And I just kind of freehand a mat around the photo. And it actually is the right size, which is crazy. So that's going to be my photo in there. And then I want to add some little embellishments around and bring a little bit more color into the layout. So I have this chipboard that I had gotten at, I don't know, some discount store. It was like $1.99. Must have been maybe Tuesday Morning or TJ Maxx or something. And it's a crate paper, and it has Party Day, that little banner. It says Party Day, and then it has some presents and stuff. So it was really perfect for this layout. And then it also had a little candle, and since she's one, I just wanted the single pink candle. And then it says happy birthday on that little piece. So there were quite a few little bits and pieces I could use from that chipboard. And then this is the new Amy Tangerine clear stickers, and I love those balloons. I thought that would give a nice pop of color on the layout. And some of the rest of it, I don't know, is kind of weird, like the zebra and the glasses and stuff. I'm not exactly sure what the theme of this collection is, if it's just eclectic or whatever, but there were some nice gold hearts that really matched the gold of that tissue paper, and there were some gold stars on that sheet as well that I wind up using. So I'm just looking at how I want to group my embellishments. And I want to add just a little bit more color somewhere else. So I'm looking at chipboard flowers, and then I go to these Amy Tan flowers, and I cut it in half to stick a side under each. But once I stick this one down, it blends into that pink watercolor a little bit too much. So on this next one, I put it on a lighter spot here where it would be a little bit more white underneath it. So it just kind of gives that little pop of blue and green you can kind of see below the fringe. It's not in your face, but it is there. So I think about adding that flower, but I think I wind up, just taking that off because it just wasn't really doing all that much for the whole layout. So I'm looking at the chipboard, I'm looking at that butterfly. I don't think that makes it on there. I go back to the Amy Tan and find that little crosshatch pattern sticker, and then also this little piece of washi tape, and I go ahead and use that to kind of give a place to ground my packages. I'm just kind of holding back that fringe and putting a little bit of hot glue on there. And then I use that yellow package down there to bring a little bit of yellow down. I go ahead and use hot glue on the other chipboard pieces. I put the little candle down. And then I go ahead and adhere my photo. And yeah, I really like how it turned out. It's kind of crazy and really fun and totally different than anything else in my album. And like I said, this will probably go into Allison's album, and it's going to be perfect for a little girl. So there is the chipboard that says Party Day at the top. Got a little star and balloons and the candle. And then you can see all that bright gold fringe, a little bit of those flowers peeking out, the nice little heart frame. I did a little journaling on the bottom. And yeah, I like that frame because it's sturdy enough to take all this hot glue and stuff like that. It's not going to warp or anything. So that is my completed layout. And so thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions or anything, just leave me a comment below. I'll talk to you later. Bye.